Welcome to the Mercedes Wilson Show. Are we servants or headliners in the church today? What example did Christ leave for us? Join me on the Mercedes Wilson Show.
You're amazing. There'll never be another like you. Never be another like you. Captivating and sharing the things that really matter to you. Really matter to you. When the weight of the world gets too heavy, take a ride with Mercedes. Be in the know on the Mercedes Wilson Show. Sharing the things that really Mercedes.
Welcome to the Mercedes Wilson Show. After you watch this show today, I encourage you to open up your Bibles and read about the example that Christ left for us. Today's guest is no stranger to serving the community around him. So thank you, Cam, for coming to sit with me today.
Thank you for having me.
We got some good stuff. We got some good stuff. Okay, so are we servants or are we headliners in today's church? But first, tell us who Cam is.
Well, I am an ordained elder at True Bethel Baptist Church. I am the CEO and founder of TURF, which is the Urban Redemption Foundation. We'll be launching later on this year. I'm a father of a 16-year-old son, 17-year-old son, a Navy veteran, and someone who loves the Lord and loves his community.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
What is your background in ministry? Give us a little info on that.
I am a fourth generation PK. And pastor, well, elder, a servant. Grew up being in outreach with my mother, who was a pastor before she passed. And that's where I got the bug to go out and just help people. So I started off running away from it. And then found that I was running right into what I was running away from.
Of course.
So since then, I've just been out here trying to help as many people as I can.
And that you do, and I really want to hit on that too. Let's start with the example that Christ left for us as far as being servants. Can you talk about that?
Christ had, to me, in my opinion, didn't have any parameters. He was for everybody. He made himself available to everybody, and he served everybody with no set criteria. No tradition, no parameters. It was agape love in its rarest form. So, you know, he set the bar high of how we serve and love each other. And that's the example he left to me.
Yeah. What should the role of the church be, not only inside the four walls, but outside? Where should the bulk of our work be, first of all?
In my opinion, outside the walls. I always ask the question, and a lot of my pastor friends get upset with me and say, what was Jesus' church address? He didn't have one. He was out with the people. He didn't sit and wait for people to come to him. He went to the people.
Right.
And I think the church today, I think we're sitting back waiting when we should be engaging outside the four walls and be out in the community. Our main job is to save souls.
Yeah.
Well, the ones inside are already saved. And
Right.
we need to go outside and get more. And build the kingdom.
How do we do that? How do we rearrange our minds to get outside of the four walls? What are some community activities that we can do?
Simple things: clothing pantry, food pantry, outreach to our young people, helping young mothers.
Our young people need us so bad.
Helping fathers. I mean, coming up with programming and meeting people where they're at. I think sometimes we as Christians set the bar so high, and we expect people to come up to us, that we got to sometimes get down and get dirty and come to them and find out what their need is. And sometimes it has nothing to, I think people don't care about how much you know till you know how much you care.
Right.
And I think the church has, we've grasped what we know, but we haven't got the care part down. Where we can go out into a bad neighborhood or go help somebody in Ohio who just had a tornado and lost their house. Those are the things that I think the church should be doing. Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the community stuff that you've done and some of the responses that you've gotten from the community.
Oh, wow. We've done...
Just name a few.
We've done Flint outreach. We did aid to Houston, which was amazing. Talking about going places where nobody knew who we are. Nobody knew what our church was about. They just saw that we care. We've done stuff in the east side of Buffalo. We've been out to Gowanda. We've been on the Indian reservation. We've been all over because the whole goal is to help people.
Right.
And I think so many times we get caught up in our traditions that we forget about the people.
Right.
And traditions hinder us from reaching some of the people, in my opinion.
Now, what are some of the responses? Or are there any stories that you have in the back of your mind that immediately pop up when you think about the community work?
Well, I can tell you last week, I was in front of City Court. A young man that had been coming to our church, been struggling with alcoholism for probably the last 3 years. I mean, he came faithfully to Bible study, came to church, and I told him, I said, mind over matter. When you make up your mind, nothing else matters. Stopped me in front of the courthouse. I wonder why he was stopping me. He was on his way to rehab. And he said, if it wasn't for me praying for him and being open, because I'm very transparent, as you can see. I don't
just a little,
just a little transparent. And I tell him my story. Like, everybody has a story. Everybody has, an obstacle that they have to get through. And I said, there's something on the other side of this. And to hear him call me every day and tell me, like, yo, listen, I'm on my 3rd day, I'm on my 4th day, and to hear the excitement and to hear him come back to life. That's what it's all about.
That's ministry.
That's true ministry. That's what keeps me going.
One of the things that my dad said to me a little bit ago was, when he was growing up, the church was everything to the family. He said if we needed food, we went down to the church because they had a pantry. If mom and dad needed counseling, we went to the church for counseling. How can we bring that back? I mean, I know we talked about going into the community, but how do we get the people inside?
Well, sometimes we have to look at the inside. Sometimes looks worse than the outside, because how we treat people when they come in, if they don't look like us, smell like us. I've seen it in a lot of churches I've been into, where we want people to come in, but when they get in, it's like, well, you're not part of us. You got to do this to be part of, instead of just wrapping your arms and loving somebody. So I think we got to put down our traditions and our standards and get back just to loving people and helping people. It's not you can have a big building, but if you have a big ministry, what are you doing?
Right. So we're going to talk more about that, Cam. Stay with me. And don't you go anywhere either. We will be back with Elder Cam.
Hello, Buffalo. My name is Yvette Phillips. I started a group 5 years ago called We Are Buffalo Strong. One day, my kids and I were driving in downtown Buffalo, and we noticed so many people sleeping under the bridge. I wanted to do something, but my resources were low. So I reached out to a few family members and friends, and we began taking food downtown once a month to feed our homeless community, some of which were veterans. After becoming 2017's Humanitarian of the Year, more volunteers started helping our group. Since 2013, we've fed 6,460 people. My goal is to make sure no one goes hungry or cold in the city of Buffalo, which is called the City of Good Neighbors. I challenge you to make a difference in your community. Be the change you want to see. Together, we are all Buffalo Strong.
Power965radio.com, the new sound of Buffalo, is a proud supporter of The Mercedes Wilson Show. They have a full lineup of unique programs. Find out more about the station's owner, Sheila Brown, in her new book, 29 Years of Preparation, at Power965radio.com.
Ever since I made my first beat, I knew music was a passion. Along with the beat makers in my company, I get to share my passion. Music is a way to dream, and now I get a chance to make dreams come true. Welcome to Soundmaster Beats.
There are thousands of local job openings that pay between $30,000 to $50,000 a year, and you can get the skills you need at Northland Workforce Training Center. Northland is an extension campus of SUNY Erie and Alfred State College, preparing students for advanced manufacturing and energy jobs. We provide career coaching, financial aid assistance, transportation, and childcare. Get started at one of our weekly pre-enrollment sessions. Train for what's next at Northland Workforce Training Center.
Hope, the new book by Mercedes E. Wilson, is a personal testimony of strength, determination, and faith in God, helping to overcome life's struggles. Buy it in hardcover, paperback, or Kindle edition on Amazon.com today.
Welcome back to the Mercedes Wilson Show. I am sitting with Elder Cam. a man that I consider to be a great servant in our communities and the perfect guest to talk about serving in today's church. So, thank you for sticking with me, Cam.
No problem.
Because we got some questions now. All right, so there's a statement that you made where you said we need to atone for the things that we have done wrong. And when I say we, I mean the church. What do you mean by that? We
have not always got it right. In my opinion, I always say my opinion because last time I made that statement on the show, my phone's lit up. But I think we have to evaluate what we're doing. Sometimes we get caught up in who we are instead of what we should be doing. And then with the climate that we're in now, where things have changed, and you got different, parameters of people. You got the people with the gay rights, and they say, well, should they be loved in the church? I'm of the opinion everybody should be loved. So I think we have to be honest that we have not always gotten it right. There are some people that we have hurt along the way. And see, the thing is, I think we should go back and reach out to those people.
Give us examples. Who have we heard of? Just a couple.
A lot of the pregnant mothers. When I grew up in the era and you got pregnant, you were brought up in front of the church. The man wasn't there, but you were demonized for maybe making a mistake or whatever the case might be. So there's a generation in there who saw that and have witnessed that, where you were not allowed to serve if you had a baby out of wedlock. You were not allowed to serve if you were divorced. You were not allowed to serve if you went through addiction. You couldn't go to church and say, hey, I got an addiction. Oh, no, how dare you say that? That's a sin. No, that's an issue that the church should be addressing and we should be helping out with. So I think those are the people I care about. Because when people say church hurt, I always try to correct them. A building never hurt you. People hurt you. And sometimes we have great buildings and great ministries, but the people inside are not following the acts of Jesus and being that agape love and being open.
So how do we make it right?
By being transparent. We have to be transparent and let go of some of our traditions. I think some of the traditions, and I would say in the African American church, have dated us. We're not open to certain things. And we hold on to certain things so tight, and other things we don't think about. So I think we have to let down our traditions and really get with the times. I mean, everything's supposed to evolve. So I think that we have to evolve as how we address it. Our kids. Most kids are not growing up with a grandparent that takes them to church now. They're not growing up with a father they see put on a suit, go to church. So those are issues we have to look at, and we can't get caught up in what we do. And who we are, instead of looking at what we do and how our makeup in the community.
Okay, so a leader versus someone that attends church.
Right.
Does serving look different?
Yes.
Can you break down the differences?
It's both sides. You have leaders who want to be served, but consider themselves servant. So when they come to church late, they want to sit in the front row. They have a parking space. You got to address them by their title. You got to do this, you got to do that. But then you got those who, like myself, that doesn't matter. My serving is based on what my feet do and what my hands do.
That's
not
good.
The expectation of a preaching engagement or who I'm going to get close with or what bishop says my name. They always say that your anointing makes room for you. And I think a lot of people now don't understand. They try to push themselves to get on a platform, and they're not serving the people. So when you get up and preach, people don't get with you because they've never seen you. They don't know who you are. If you look at T.D. Jakes didn't just start being this mega pastor. He started in West Virginia, helping people, being out there in the trenches with the people. And I think as far as the congregants, I think we've gotten to being more lazy as congregants. We don't want to serve. We got everybody at church gets on payroll. Somebody's going to clean the church, somebody's going to open it up. In my day, the deacons and the members.
We all volunteered.
If you didn't like the grass on Sunday, it would be 4 or 5 men on Monday cutting the grass. That's just how we operated. And there wasn't nobody looking for a paycheck, looking for no kudos, or Facebook stat or anything like that. You took pride. You had ownership. You had buy-in into what you believed in your church.
Is there such thing as doing too much for someone when you're serving? Like, for example,
yes.
There is? Okay.
Oh, yes.
Talk about it.
You can enable people. With our food truck. We start off in doing our food truck with St. Paul's Cathedral with the homeless Jesus. Came out with food. The idea was to feed people. Then I started looking at the people we were feeding. A lot of people were coming that were on drugs, which was not a problem, but we wasn't helping them get help. We were enabling their addiction so they can get high and get food from us. We're going to feed them. But are we helping them get clean? Are we
So we should have taken that extra step.
We thought we were doing great works, which we were, but we were more enabling than helping. So then when we shifted and said, hey, do you want to have the mental health counselors or have the social workers come over from social services or get you some people out here to get you some help? We saw the shift. Where people were like, oh, wow, you really care about me. You're just not feeding me. You know, not a handout, but a hand up.
Right. So last question. We have 1 minute left. So, but I really want to get it in. How do we work with those that don't have the same faith as us when we're out serving our communities?
I think it's very easy. I've worked with the Hindu. I've worked with the Baptists. I've worked with all kinds of people, Muslims. I think they're more open than we are working with each other. And that sounds crazy, but that's how I'm starting to see that. We're so caught up in our doctrines when they're more open to just helping people. They're not going to have, I've worked with Muslims, we didn't have the debate about which one is better. We had a common goal that we were going to help these people. When I give book bag giveaways with the Hindu Association, always send stuff. Sabu and all of them, they support. I've been out to their mosque, they've been to our church. We're learning each other, we're open to learning each other. And I think that's where working with other faiths really, and then you get educated. You become, you know, because a lot of people think Muslims are bad, especially you get them over 65. Oh, don't be a Muslim. But then when you start working with those people, do you understand their faith? And they intertwine. You know, I tell people believe in a higher power other than yourself. So I think that's where we start at in working with other faiths. It's hard sometimes working in Christians than working outside. To me, I get more reception from other faiths than that way. Because
well, I know go ahead.
A lot of them mandate that they do stuff for church. I just feel like you've never seen a homeless Hindu. You won't, because they believe in taking care of their people.
So we have some work to do as the church, and I know you've seen a lot.
Right.
Being out in the community as much as you are. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining with me, Cam.
Anytime.
Thank you for being transparent on some things, and I pray God's blessing that you continue to do what you do.
Thank you so much. You too.
Stay with us because we will be back with 6 Minutes with Sanders. Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse. Are you in need of a new kitchen without the hassle of a total remodel? Our service is quick, easy, and convenient. Let us install your work with our hand-picked, licensed installation professionals. You will love your new kitchen. We guarantee it. Home Depot, a name you can trust. Call James Wilson today at 216-322-0766.
I've had this problem.
Big problem.
I really needed
A good accountant.
And I kept searching and searching.
There are so many choices.
It's really hard to find one that has all the things on my list. But I finally did it.
Yes. Thank you.
If you were looking for one as well, look no further.
Here's a really good one.
Just use mine.
Use mine.
I'm very satisfied.
Definitely recommend. Problem gone.
Thank you.
Power965radio.com, the new sound of Buffalo, is a proud supporter of The Mercedes Wilson Show. They have a full lineup of unique programs. Find out more about the station's owner, Sheila Brown, in her new book, 29 Years of Preparation, at Power965radio.com.
Looking to better your health and lifestyle? Connect with Stephanie Krebs to get started with Young Living and set your goals into action. Call 585-708-4020 or online at bodysensehcn.com.
Restore your body, beauty, and soul with Capriceology.com, providing wellness and ministry services for your church and family with master herbalist, iridologist, and conference speaker Caprice Butts. Are you as healthy as you want to be? Nutritional help is just a click away with online wellness packages and consultations. Or grab your friends and book a wellness workshop for your church group. Plus, get daily inspiration to revive you from the inside out. Restore your body, beauty, and soul with Capriceology.com. Subscribe today for a free wellness guide.
Welcome back to the Mercedes Wilson Show. Now comes one of my favorite segments called 6 Minutes with Sanders. Pastor Sanders has been in ministry for over 20 years and is not afraid to talk about the topics that concern the church. He will be joining me periodically to dissect some things. If you have any suggestions, please be sure to email me, right? Right, Pastor?
That's it.
We want to hear from folks, right?
Absolutely.
So today we have a good one for you. What's the topic today, Pastor?
So heavenly minded that you are no earthly good, or so earthly minded that you're no heavenly good. Balance.
Balance. Okay, so break down the first one. So heavenly minded that you are no earthly good.
You know, a lot of time when people think of Christians, they think of people that are this deep, super spiritual, that they don't know how to live and function in society. And that's not really who we are as mature Christian believers. We know how to love God and we know how to live. And I think that it's very important that we know how to do both. Jesus said, I come that you might have life and have that life more abundantly. So God isn't against having an abundant life.
You know, some people might think that those words mean compromise, though.
I don't
right?
think
like I have to come down to be earthly good.
No, I believe that if you looked at somebody that was both, look at Jesus Christ. He knew how to relate to people. Kids loved him. Sinners were comfortable with him, which means that even though he was fully God, he was also fully man. And so to me, that is the perfect paradigm. Be fully a man of God, and I'm also fully a man that dwells with people.
So break that down. How are you? What's the first one you said? Say it again, Pastor. I'm going to mix it up.
How do you be so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good?
So give some examples.
People that are so spiritual, they're spooky. I don't think that spiritual means spooky. Don't walk around speaking in King James. Talk to people, use everyday language, enjoy yourself. I think a lot of Christians are miserable because they never learn how to enjoy themselves. Too uptight to laugh, too uptight to enjoy yourself, too uptight to be around average and normal people. There's something wrong with that.
Okay, now then the other one is to be so earthly minded.
So you know heavenly good. That means you're so carnal that no one can see the Christ in you.
So give some examples of that.
Well, people that, you know, even though you live with everyone, you work with people that are non-believers, you live next to people who are non-believers, there should be something about your life that stands out. There should be something about your life that says, that person knows God. Wonderful person, awesome personality, but you could tell there's something different. There has to still be that difference that someone can see in your life, and that difference is God.
Okay, but what are the fruits of that difference? Is it just joy? Because I mean, I've been there where sometimes you're at work and you feel like if you're not reciting King James, then they won't know. Give us fruits.
The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. That's the
Good
fruit.
talk,
That is,
Pastor. Good
that
talk.
is what the Spirit of God releases in our life.
Yeah.
And none of those things are spooky. Love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, being kind. You know, so these things, it manifests in your life, and there's no compromise in them.
Right.
No compromise. And the Bible says against these, there's no law against these things.
Jeez,
so I think that just being, you know, sometimes people look at the way you're dressed, the way I'm dressed. You guys just look so carnal. You don't look like churchy people. I don't know what church uniform looks like. I know some stuff. We live in this world, but as the old folks say, we're not of this world.
Yeah, yeah. So what you're talking about is balance.
Absolutely.
That's a lot. I mean, somebody watching this that maybe, because I've been that person, so spiritually minded, may say, oh, come on, Pastor. Give some steps toward changing that mindset so that you can enjoy life.
I think one thing is you can't compartmentalize your life. And when I mean compartmentalize your life, people say, well, this is my spiritual life and this is my natural life. You only got one life. You can't be schizophrenic. You have to live one life. So who you are at church should be who you are at work. Who you are at work should be who you are at home. And we come on, we all know schizo people. They'll be one way, super holy, loving on everybody, and then go to work and you're a nasty, miserable person. The fact is you have to be the same person. What is the first commandment or thing we learned about God? He's one. Hear you, Israel, the Lord our God is one, which means he's not a split personality. And I think so that part of that balance means you can demonstrate and manifest God in every area of your life. I can go golfing and manifest God in my life. You know, so it's about really maturing enough to say, I take God everywhere I go. And everywhere I go, I'm around people, and it's going to be the same balanced person. Because before you show someone Christ, they see you.
Right.
Now, some people say, the only Jesus some people might ever see is the Jesus that's in me.
Yeah, that's good, Pastor. I'm enjoying these 6-minute segments, Pastor. Is there anything else you want to leave for the person that may be watching? What do you want to say about being so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good, or vice versa?
One of the things the Word of God says, Jesus says, you will know them by the fruit that they bear. And what type of fruit are you bearing? What is coming off of you? And be cognizant of that.
Yeah.
And be conscious everywhere you go. When I go to work, I have to realize that I'm taking my best friend to work with me.
Yeah.
And that's Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
When I'm with my wife, I'm taking my best friend. Everywhere you go, take him, because Jesus was everything. But one thing he wasn't was spooky.
He was not. I like that.
He wasn't
I
spooky.
like that. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
And stay with us. We'll be right back with more.
Ever since I made my first beat, I knew music was a passion. Along with the beat makers in my company, I get to share my passion. Music is a way to dream, and now I get a chance to make dreams come true. Welcome to Soundmaster Beats.
Hello, Buffalo. My name is Yvette Phillips. I started a group 5 years ago called We Are Buffalo Strong. One day, my kids and I were driving in downtown Buffalo, and we noticed so many people sleeping under the bridge. I wanted to do something, but my resources were low. So I reached out to a few family members and friends, and we began taking food downtown once a month to feed our homeless community, some of which were veterans. After becoming 2017's Humanitarian of the Year, more volunteers started helping our group. Since 2013, we've fed 6,460 people. My goal is to make sure no one goes hungry or cold in the city of Buffalo, which is called the City of Good Neighbors. I challenge you to make a difference in your community. Be the change you want to see. Together, we are all Buffalo Strong.
Hey everyone, I'm Keandra Lockett, and I want you to do two things. Get my new single, Try, and watch and tell all your friends about the Mercedes Wilson Show.
Hope, the new book by Mercedes E. Wilson, is a personal testimony of strength, determination, and faith in God, helping to overcome life's struggles. Buy it in hardcover, paperback, or Kindle edition on Amazon.com today.
Wardrobe for the Mercedes Wilson Show was provided by Clothes Mentor in Tonawanda, New York. Grade A looks for less.
I want to say thank you to you, our viewers, for watching the Mercedes Wilson Show, along with Cam and Pastor Mark Sanders for joining me today. Learn more about this show, fill out a form to be a guest, and give us your show ideas at mercedesewilson.com. Also, follow me on all of the social media handles at Mercedes E. Wilson. And don't forget to check out all of the shows via YouTube and my podcast. Share this show with someone you love. Thank you for tuning into the Mercedes Wilson Show, and we will see you next week.
You remember